What you're about to see is a video snippet from inside the boiler room. Every single morning before the open of the US stock markets, I analyze dozens of stocks and then decide on the trades that we're going to look at for that day with dozens of traders. We all get together, execute trades, chat some, and make some money together on a Zoom conference call. Go to thepatterntrader.com/club to find out more. I'm short Tesla. It's, kind of mining these very lower levels down here. Always very dangerous when you get to kind of previous support levels. And maybe I'll put a bid in there and get out at like 198 or something and see if there's a bounce after that. But, I think this low is around 204. And right now we're trading at about 208. We just gap lower. Don't like to see that size gap. So, but now it's showtime. This thing has been putting on a very, very bearish pattern. And, I think you could, a lot of markets are confidence and perception. And if it really starts coming apart, you could get a panic, people heading for the gates. And there's just not going to be enough chairs for everybody when the music stops. So we have broken down, and we actually did do this retest. I didn't quite see it yesterday, but that's what I was looking for. When we broke out of here, I always look for a retest back to the breakout, and we basically made that happen. So now it's, if we take out these lows, then this is real. Now, it's not to say that, we could take out the lows and then you get another bounce like silver, but eventually this thing's going down. It's just how it does it. To me, it's not a question of if, but when this thing gets blown apart. So you can see we're on this proverbial kind of accumulation point. Every time we've hit here, we've had a good bounce. But now I think what has been support is going to turn into new resistance. And this thing is going to literally come apart. I've been waiting for this for a year. These patterns don't lie, but they take their time. So, that's where we're at. We had this huge thing here. I said, wait for some kind of recoil last week. We've kind of had that. And now I think it's showtime. So, let's see what happens down here. It's kind of a dangerous area, a lot of volatility, but I would just sell into bounces, and I will. I will. So we're at 207 right now, 208 on Tesla, down from 222. I started shorting from 217, 215, 212, 211, I think even some around 210. I'm not really scared. I'm not scared of this thing anymore. I will use any bounce at 218 or what have you to keep adding to my position. Roblox, I would short this. Look, this is still in a downtrend. See, you connect, look at that. You just banged right into that trend line. So now, if this is real, then, we should start coming above there. And if that's the case, you might be able to. So it's worth watching. I'm a little skeptical. I mean, this was a bottom, but I suspect it's just a trading bottom. You see these, you can trade them. But now, if you have a bottom, to me, after the bottom, you should have a case of higher lows and higher highs. What you now have is a case of lower highs. So you made a bottom, but now you've got lower highs. So I'm very skeptical. It would have to get above this high to start breaking that cadence. So I'm pretty skeptical, and I would probably believe that it's going to go right back into trend. And that's the thing, we see these perfect things like Bumble and what have you. And, when you see them, you can trade them. You see this, that is a nice bottom. Then you clear the neckline and, look, you could trade that thing. It went from 30 to 55. It's a 50% move, but it's still a downtrend. So you have to understand that if you're just doing a counter trend trade, that's your objective. It's just counter to the trend. You always have to watch for that next tsunami to wash over your head to take it down in the direction that it's going. This looks just like Bumble. I could probably do an overlay. Where now you come in and now it gives way to another pattern, which is the pattern that is really the pattern within the cadence of the trend. So now you really respect that. And then you kind of had another one, and this is not really a pattern, but it's stalling out here. So I kind of suspect we kind of go back into the chop toward the $35 area again, unless we have enough steam to keep taking it above this trend line, which let's see. Right now, it's a case of higher lows. If we're up here, then maybe, it's turning around, but I'm reasonably skeptical. Apple's just kind of a mess in here. It's like you have to picture, how do you get through this thing to the downside? But, I still think there's a lot of downside left in Apple. Just as we draw closer to these midterms, November 8th. So this would be the area to watch, about 135. If that kind of retests it, I think that we'll start going through it. So in the meantime, we're hovering above there. We grabbed a bit of a thing, and who knows how far that could extend before we kind of crap out again. And I think we will. To me, it's not a question of if, but when we take this thing out. So this is a big, bad ascending broadening. Now, these can be continuation patterns. The NASDAQ hit this, during COVID and ended up going and making a new high. So, you kind of have to watch how these things traverse. But I believe that eventually this thing will take it out. So it's just something to keep an eye on. It just may not be ready yet. On the other hand, we're in this very tight channel. We're at the top of it. And, we could be ready to start coming down again. It's just, there's a lot of junk here that you got to clear through. Yeah, these markets are kind of crashing now. I kind of feel like they're going to go down today. Wynn kind of came apart the other day. Las Vegas Sands, I think, had earnings last night. Wynn looks horrible. There's just a false breakout. This whole thing has just been, this has been directing traffic for a long time. This is the real pattern. So whenever you see bounces in this thing, you just need to short them. Now you're really looking to take out some significant levels here. And it looks like it's, going to come back to this COVID level of 35. This whole thing looks terrible. This whole thing looks kind of like a shoulder, head, shoulder here. This whole thing looks just like sitting on one big neckline, kind of broke that. Now it's going to break this, and it just looks like there's nowhere to go but south. You're just, again, in a bit of a, a support zone at this 50. You just got to clear these guys. So could get here, wait for a bounce, and just lean into it. Hey, if you would like to trade alongside me every day and join our most prestigious program, then head over to thepatterntrader.com/club for more information.